What we're talking about is a little thing called Titan Triggers from the company of the same name. You can check them out online, titantriggers.com. It's TITANTRIGGERS.com. We want to thank Nick and everyone over at Titan Triggers. They sent us a few packages to try out, and I installed it in my controller. We got them installed in Rich's, and we gave away one as a prize to one of the contestants for by the DS contest, as it turned out to be. And it's kind of interesting. Let's start from the beginning. This is a quick controller mod that replaces the two triggers. Now, the whole thought behind this is that the triggers, they pull back pretty far, which is great for some games. Like if you're playing racing games, you're playing anything that requires a little finesse with pressure, you want that full range. But if you're playing something like Call of Duty or a shooting game, you don't care about pulling the trigger all the way back. You just want fast responsiveness.
Yeah.
And that's where these triggers come in. If you go to titantriggers.com, you can kind of see what they look like. They look like the regular triggers, and then there's like a little nub at the bottom. And what the nub is, it's a little screw piece of plastic that screws into these modified triggers. And it keeps the trigger from extending the entire way back, which is all it's meant to do. It's a very simple modification. And it really doesn't seem like there's a lot to it. You're like, what difference is that going to make? Well, what it essentially does is turns your left and right triggers into two more shoulder buttons.
Okay.
They just click in really quick, just far enough to get a response out of the controller. That way, if you want like a hair pull trigger, if like firing short bursts is something you're looking to do in a first-person shooter, this is the perfect thing. Like, it turns it into something that you only have to bump, and you don't have to pull it all the way back. And what that allows you to do is it gives you a little more finesse and control over it. Now, one of the things I do really love about this, and I'm not sure if you experienced this too, but it made the trigger bigger.
It did.
And I love anything about a controller that's bigger. Like, we went to V-Stock, and the first thing I saw that I was like, oh my God, was the original Duke for the Xbox, the giant controller. I miss it. It was a great, monstrous controller. It felt great in my hands. This does the same thing. With those pegs in there, it gives you an extra maybe quarter inch of trigger space that allows me to, rest my fingers a little more comfortably, and which gives me a little more twitch response on them. Now, the other thing that it does is, say you play first-person shooters, but you switch to racing games. If you want the full response, the modification that attaches to the trigger, you can unscrew it and take it out.
Nice.
Then it works like a regular trigger, because I will tell you this now, as Sarah found out, I installed this and she started watching Netflix. You cannot fast forward or rewind with these triggers. And she's like, it won't work. And I'm like, oh, wait, here, let me and she's like, oh, okay, there, it's working again. So they pop in and out relatively easily, so you can use them for a bunch of different things. So all in all, I think the triggers are a fantastic little modification.
Right on.
Especially if you're using it for any sort of shooting game or any kind of game where you don't really need the full range of motions and you just want a little, click feeling. You want a button feeling. The price for them is definitely not bad. You can pick up the Titan triggers, which includes the 2 thumb screws and the 2 modded triggers for the low price of $10. You can just purchase a controller with them already installed. It's going to be $50. There's extra thumb screws. And if you don't already have a torque screwdriver, it's a good thing to have if you're going to modify consoles. You can pick up a T8 Security Tips Torx driver for $2 for controllers. I should make note that these install in all first-party Microsoft controllers, be them wired or wireless. Wireless controllers use a torque screwdriver. To unscrew the wired controllers, actually just use a standard Phillips.
I wonder why that is.
I really don't know, but it doesn't really bother me either way.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And I tried this out on, I actually stepped away from, not that I bother reviewing this, but I stepped away from Reckoning for, I've got to play some Devil May Cry HD collection.
Oh, I figured that you were going to be like, I actually put down Kingdoms of Alamar and then had a cold sweat. But I managed to get a little game time in there. So what'd you think?
It worked out really nicely for Devil May Cry on the basis that, like, if you ever played Devil May Cry 1, the guns are mostly used in quick bursts as you're jumping through the air when you can't launch on somebody's sword. So you're not, like, holding down and, like, wailing on the guns. They're actually meant to be shot kind of in burst form. It worked out very nice for that. I did try out a little bit just for the sake of trying out, played some Bulletstorm with it. And I liked the quick shot fire, especially on a gun like, for instance, like the shotgun, which you obviously can't just hold down the button. You actually got to like shoot, and that worked out very nice with that. I think it's definitely going to be big. The big thing for you if you're playing a lot of games like Battlefield 3 or Medal of Honor, Call of Duty, that require like controlled burst firing and that sort of thing for more precision and accuracy. I think this is a must-have.
Absolutely. And that's what it boils down to. If you play any games that require just like very touchy, responsive controls, is this absolutely needed? Of course not. No. If it was absolutely needed, it would have been in the original controller design. But what
that's not entirely true.
Well, yeah, it's very true. It's not
D-pad?
true. Yeah, D-pad, it definitely. And maybe that's Titan Trigger's next thing, is design us a new D-pad. But
no, they fixed that. Microsoft fixed that, right?
Oh, with the twist-up one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But that being said, if you're looking to give yourself a little bit of an edge, or if you're looking for a different type of feel to it, it's definitely a cheap and easy way to modify your controller.
Mm-hmm.
And I will also say this.
Yes.
It is a great time to clean out your grody-ass controller.
Yeah.
There's dirt and filth in that controller that you have no idea. And now that you pulled it apart, and don't worry, I guess we should put this to rest too. If you aren't really big on taking apart electronics, this is a very simple job.
Yeah.
Even if the controller pops completely apart, it's pretty logical about what goes where, and it's very easy to pop together again. You can actually do everything just by removing the front plate without taking anything else off. I did a deep clean of my controller. I pulled all the guts out. I pulled both the motors. I pulled the board. I popped the buttons out. I cleaned everything because, as I mentioned, after 5 years, it tends to accumulate a bit of dirt and stuff. So, not only do you get great triggers out of it, but you get a chance to actually clean some of the stuff out of your controller that you didn't know was in there.
Which is going to be kind of a discovery in of itself.
Absolutely. Trust me. You'll be very happy you did. You'll be like, I think that just moved. I need to get that out of there.
I can't remember the last time I had Moo Goo Gai Pan.
Yep. Once again, a big thanks to everyone over at Titan Triggers for sending us out to try out. You can check them out at titantriggers.com. Purchase it directly from there. If you have any questions or information, they have all their contact info posted. Or if you just want to see a video of how to install it, that's another nice thing, is they actually put a video of the installation.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so you're not sitting there wondering if you're reading it right. You could check that out there as well.
Very cool.
Yep.